Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our fourth lesson on strategic management, and today lesson will go through LO4. My name is Anjum Sattar and my email address anjum@ukversity.co.uk. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So before starting our today lesson, so let's first we'll recap what we learned up to now. So then we'll start the proper session. Let's click I'll open. So we're doing CMI level 7, strategic management and leadership. So we're doing unit 2. So you can find all resources on Moodle as well. So we'll discuss. So LO1, we discuss about critically evaluate the position of an organization and current market, which we discussed. And we discuss various tools those we can use like SWOT, PESTEL, political, economic, social, and technological factors. And we discuss how we can evaluate and critically appropriate VNs. We discuss what is meant by VN mission and values, how we can and the purpose of structure, what is meant by structure, how we can and structure how can help in our organization. That's we discuss in LO3. LO2 we discuss leadership between corporate, and we discuss different models of leadership and evaluate strategic options for an organization. All these we discuss today. Lesson 4 we'll go through and we'll apply 4 seal model, one-off model for change. So that's we'll discuss during this lesson. Critically evaluate various change management models. So other models we'll discuss as well some, and apply leadership and management skills. What sort of the skills is required, and change agent skills. Because if you're implementing something and you manage something on the behalf of others, you need some skills, and you're agent for the shareholders. So that's which we'll discuss today lesson. And then last learning outcome, which we'll go through during next lesson. If you have any questions, feel free and ask me, please. So we'll start our lesson.
Okay.
Okay, what do we know about the change management and why we need to change? Any thought?
Well, you need to review where you are all the time. To change is continuous. Change is a continuous process.
Yeah. So one of the great scholar, he mentioned either you're 80 and 20, you stop learning, you become older. In the same in our organization, if we not learn and we not change according to the environment, we will stay behind. We're not going to be sustained in our organization. So we need to be changed. So the thing few years back, we don't need computers, we don't need really learn about technology. But if we don't know about computer, we don't know how to use it, or we hate technology, we can't really sustain. It's very difficult without technology. Maybe we hate social media, but it's the social media is becoming part of business, part of our management tools as well. So we need to think about how we have to change our practices, our procedures, our filing systems, whatever we are doing in our profession. So we need to think and we need to reflect. So always good leaders always carry on reflecting, carry on changing, and it's a continuous process. If you change quickly, you want everything new. It's a very difficult. It can be a disaster as well. So always we need to think about change in a positive way. Okay, so next. So lesson 4B, implement strategic change. How we can implement change. So when we'll implement the change, any organization, first of all, we need to look around what our corporate objective are. what our strategies are, why really we want to be changed. We have to ask the question. We know the strategy, the directions, and the scope of organization over the long term, which achieve advantages in changing environment through configuration of the resources and competencies with aim to fulfill the stakeholders' expectation. Why we are changing? Because we are changing to fulfill the stakeholders' expectation only we can fulfill in this changing environment. Like think about the taste of the customers is changed, the way we used to be sell the things is changed, so we need to be fulfilled there. We have to change ourselves, so that's why we need to look around the strategic position. Excuse me. So we need to look around the strategic position as an organization in a market. What are positions? What is our position? How many percent we have a shares in a, so what position really we want to achieve? So micro environment, do we know the micro environment? Yes.
Of course.
Hello. Yes. So micro environment is external environment is called, we discussed micro environmental factors, political, economic, social, and technological factors. So we need to think about is the Brexit. What position really will be if we don't change it in terms of the Brexit? It will be very hard to sustain the way we used to do business. So industry and sectors. So which industry and which sector we are in? What position within sector? Competitors and market. How many competitors we have? In which market we are? We are in a primary market, we are in a secondary market. Opportunities and threats. What opportunities we have? Think about in terms of our own business, QuickBook, digitalize accounting. So we need to look around outside going Brexit. It means more VAT work will be, of course, more documentation will be. Threads can be, of course, we need e-filing now. If we don't update ourselves, that can be risk, for our business. So we need to look around and we need to reflect. Strategic position, how strategically capable the organization is. We need to look around how digital capable we are. That's why you're doing this course. Make yourself, you have improving capabilities. Capabilities mean the abilities to do something. As a company, you're independent without any errors, without any. So we need to be look around how much competent we are. So resources and competency, cost efficiencies. How we'll try to bring the efficiencies in our organization, cost efficiency, how we can reduce the cost. So we can look around all costs, all set of costs. So maybe we can categorize them into two: direct costs and indirect costs. So we need to look around direct costs, those are directly involved, direct labor, direct material, and indirect costs mean all overhead costs. Indirectly, those not directly involved, but it's still a part of the cost. So we need to think about how we can bring efficiency. Like IT system, we have in-house, maybe we outsource. So capability achieve and sustainable competitive advantage. Competitive advantage, why? We need to be better than our competitor. What advantage? Technology, competitor don't know technology. You have segment your target market effectively, but your competitor not. So we need to look around. You're ahead them in terms of knowledge, abilities, so organization knowledge. So we need to look around all these things, critically, and we need to reflect. Okay, next we corporate governance is very important. If you want to change organization, you bring to corporate governance. How we govern the organization, our governance structure in our organization, we need to change. Think about lot of discussion about unequal pay, gender pay gap, lot of discussion. So we need to be lot of discussion going around how we'll give the fair shares to, because managers or the CEOs getting millions bonuses, but actually employees not getting. So there is a difference. There are the conflicts starting. So how we'll try to be proper govern their participation in our organization need to be. So those we need to be in the business ethics and CSR, corporate social responsibility, and ethics moral principle we need to be follow a stakeholder expectation. You can categorize internal, external, direct, indirect, positive, so those, the stakeholders we need to discuss. Values, missions, visions, and objective, all we need to be discussed and we need to reflect before actually you go for this change. Any question? So these
No,
most of
no,
the things,
not really.
these
No,
most
no,
of the
no,
things,
no question.
these most of the things we already discussed in other unit as well in other learning outcome. So just a bit, reflection, and then we'll discuss actual model itself. Strategic position, culture, norms, values, beliefs. So a lot of the culture. If we not understand our own organization culture, is very difficult to implement the change in in an organization. So we need to make sure. So we go through the organizational change, and that's only is possible if we understand the culture, which culture we operate, what our organization. So Johnson and Scholl is quite popular author. He books give us the cultural web. So we need to be understand these things, stories we well aware of, we assembled in our organization, the power structure in our organization, how much power we have, what sort of the structure, senior level, junior level management, organization structure, control systems, all of the routine stuff, which we do, story. So this is the paradigm we need to understand to implement the change effectively. Role of cultural web, of course, is used to map organization culture as it's now the process is repeated to identify how the culture is intended to be and then highlight the difference between two. The difference are these changes need to be made, achieve the performance culture that is required. So culture is very, very, when we'll do the change, it can be a cultural shock. The cultural shock means the people can easily leave the organization. That's why it need to be continuous process, not a cultural shock, Oh no, we start our work 9 o'clock. No, you have to start 5 o'clock. So it can be quickly it's a cultural shock, because a lot of things can be and people will leave the organization. Strategic choices we need to be look around what really we want to be, what sort of the changes we want. We discuss, the business plan, strategic plan or strategic choices in other lessons as well. Like, operational level, we want business level, strategic business unit, strategy clock, we discuss sustainable advantage, hyper competition game theory, unsoft metric we discuss about market leadership, and that is a new product in new markets. And we discussed BCG metric, we are star, we are cash cow, we are problem child, our product, and McKenzie metrics as well. So these are all, and that will leads to be our choice to be go internationally more. Our business we want to be changed because we have a market, we reach at the business in the business life cycle where is a decline. So all we need to think about if we want to go for international market. Okay, next we're looking strategic choices. When we're looking innovation and entrepreneurship as well, we need a balance in between. We need innovation, we need to manage the risk and deciding between different opportunities and innovations. Okay, organization structure, we need to look around how we can configure all other resources, relations, and processes. In our organization, type of strategic change, if we want to be different changes can be incremental change or big bang, totally reconstruction, evaluation. So all this, is we need to be step by step change, incremental, or you want to be quick, big change in our organization. That can the models we can use for the change purposes. So when making strategic change need to be considered, what we need to be considered, what time is available, what is the scope of the change, what aspect current situation need to be perceived, or we need to be changed observed. So we need to be how Diverse are people, experience, views, opinion across the organization. Who is available to manage the chain? Who will be responsible to manage the chain? What resources are available? If we want to change, what resources available? How ready are the people to change? If people are not ready to change, it's very difficult to implement the change in our organization. So we need to set the mind. Like think about the smoking. So smoking ban in the UK, first they try to be ban the advertising. Second step, they try to be public place. Third, they try to be, no, you can't smoke in your in the public transport. Fourth, they you can't smoke in your own car if you have a kid. You can't smoke in your house if you have a little one. So it's a step by step approach. So we need to look around because otherwise can be reactions. So next our model, we looking the strategic change model, which is a force field model. We need to apply the model. If you want to apply the model, we need to be look around what strategic plan, what culture we are in, what norms, values, or views we have as an organization. If we understand, then we can implement force. Okay, then we can implement this force field model. So this could you use the force field analysis to help manage the chain? What aspect of the current situation could block the chain and how? According to the force field model, we have two types of forces. Forces for change and driving forces for chain, and some forces those are against the chain. How we can overcome them, all these, so we have some motivator and some demotivator. Those demotivate the chain, they don't want to be chained. So that is in our organization carry on happening. What aspect of the current situation could help to bring the change? How could enforce these if it's at all? So what other aspects need to be introduced to help to bring the change? So which we'll go through. So this model is force field model is given by the Levin, and force field model is quite popular in using in our organization to implement the change. So in this model, driving chain and the forces those are driving the chain and straining it, those are against the chain. So two set of the forces, driving force must be exceed. So we need to exceed it. So we have a more people in our organization, those want change. Always few percent people don't want to change themselves. So maybe we can force them to be changed. Otherwise, they have to leave the organization. If everyone don't want to be changed and everyone leave the organization, then it will be very difficult. So investigate the balance of the power involved and is an issue. Key stakeholders. So first of all, when you want to implement the change in our organization, always take on board key stakeholders. Think about the fracking technology, fracking, getting the gas from the drilling. So that's happened in various places in the UK. So the reason lot of some stakeholders they not take on the board, it's went in the media, they close the plant, they lot of uh, anti forces really, lot of strike happen. So before that happen, we can take them on board. What we want to be, we can discuss them. Won't be any environmental or the no research is available on the environmental issues will be. So we take on board, but it's very difficult. It's easy to say but difficult to do. So we need to make sure at least the key stakeholder, because otherwise it create a problem for our organization, especially union member, if we don't take them on board. Identify opponents, allies, and identify how they influence the target group, so we can make a plan for them how we'll tackle. So first thing, three-step of process. Then next, this three-step chain process, Levin, for the how we can implement is based on the three-step. Make a radical change. That's the step one. Can we make a radical change? Minimize disruptions or any inconsistencies in our organization will happen. Structure operations and make sure the change is adopted permanently. It's not change, few days you change something and next days you change again. Yes. So there's three concepts. We use unfreeze. You unfreeze it, make radical change, then chain it, and then freeze it. Then stay it's for the long period of time this change. Any question?
No.
Okay, so next you already finished this assignment, so you already discussed unfreeze, chain, and freeze. So preparing people for chain, making the chain, and refreezing, embedding the change in a organization. That's all about the chain. Okay, overcoming. How we can overcome these, the problem in our organization. Those don't want to be changed. Job factors. So we need to look around fear of technology, unemployment, fear of change on the working condition, and the fear of demotions or the reduced pay. So that can be, oh no, this organization, this new CEO is going to be changed. So we need to overcome all these. And social factors, of course, we need to be look around the social factor in our organization, like people from different ethnic backgrounds. So we need to understand their culture, their social factors, so we can implement the change effectively. Personal factor implied the criticism of the current working method, feel less valued, our work becoming more. Yes, so we need to be make sure the work life balance. Okay, next, leadership style. So when you implement the change, we need a good leadership style implement. Participation leadership style, really we need education and communication. Power, we need to look around not sort of, do you want to give them sort of punishment. Facilitations we need, and sport, patience and cooperation and negotiation. All need how we can do it. Of course, education and communication we need to be developed in our organization, and that will help to implement change. Any question?
No, that's okay.
Okay, that was all about the how we can force field model, which is we have a driving force, some forces again the change, how we can overcome. So we need to understand the cultures, we need to reflect on the leadership style. So we'll try to be implement so unfreeze, change, and then freeze. So all these, the three things we need to do according to we need to implement in our organization for force field model. So next we're looking the critical evaluate the various change management model. There are the various change management model. Force field one is the one model. Maybe we can criticize. A lot of people did criticize. Critically we can evaluate, but it's quite popular model. We can use it in our organization. Next we're looking quarter 8-step chain model, which is we can first in according to quarter we need to look around 8 steps of chain. So first thing, establishing a sense of urgency. So in our organization, examining the current market and the competitive reality, identify and discussing the crisis, potential crisis or opportunities, which that's why we want to be changed. Second is forming a powerful coalition, so assembling a group with enough power to lead the change efforts and encouraging the people to work together as a team. So that's why we need to teach the value of the team in our organization. According to the great scholar Henry Ford, he mentioned coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. So working as a team is a success. So we need to motivate people towards as a team value. So because otherwise there's a conflict in the teams carry on happening. Team performance and individual performance we need to measure as well. So creating a vision, yes, we need to create a vision. Creating a vision to help direct the change efforts and developing strategies for achieving the vision. Any question? Okay, next 4 steps is communicating the vision. You set up the vision, but you not communicate with the, oh no, you can read it, online. We need to make sure, we communicate with the various stakeholders. teaching new behavior, example, and guiding. So we need empowering others to act on the vision. Yes, we need to obstacle for the chain. We need to rid of chaining the system or the structures that seriously undermine our vision is to provide the value, our vision to be help the customer, our vision to be see and increase market share. So we need to rid of the negative things. We need to be work towards encouraging the risk taking and the non-traditional ideas, activities, and action, and the planning for creating short-term wins. So we need to look around the planning for visible performance improvement, creating those improvements we already done, and we need to regularly reflect, reorganizing. So we need to look around, and rewarding implies involved in the improvement. So we carry on rewarding. So best person of the month, best sale advisor for the month, best person the performance wise, no errors, no they. So we need to carry on doing in our organization. Number 7, consolidation, improvement, and producing still more change, using increased credibility to change system. Will carry on is a structure and policy that don't fit the vision. We carry on. We're reading off them those not fit. Hiring and promoting and developing employees who can implement the vision. So we carry on hiring, we're promoting them, we're developing them. So it means that we carry on doing training and development courses within our organization. So the process of the new project and the themes and the change agent we need to carry on doing in our organization. Institutionalizing new approaches. So we need to articulating the connection between the new behaviors and the corporate success. And we need to look around developing the means to ensure the leadership development and succession planning in our organization. We need to carry on doing. So these are the 8 steps, according to, and those we must need to be follow. And that model is quite useful as well when we look, as an organization chain. Individual, of course, carry on gain the chain. There is resistance to change and selective perception, habit, misunderstanding, inconvenience, or the loss of freedom, economic implications, security in the past, fear of the unknown, and no one is like change. So we need to be remove these fears. We need to be well communicate them. That will help to be change. Then organization resistance to change, the undefined goals and objective when we have a financial lack of working capital in our organization. So that can be create a problem, lack of resources and the bad resource allocation in our organization, and the insufficient communication, they all create a problem in our organization for the chain. Okay. When we do the chain, we need to look around how we can overcome, and those people don't want to be chain structure. We need to develop. If we have a lack of preparation for the new role, that can create a problem. Lack of our bad leadership. If we don't have a lack of good leadership, it can be bad leadership. Cultural issues, those we have in our organization, abusive cultures, people not being treated equally, those sort of the things we need to make sure, we. Any questions?
No.
So
No.
type of strategic change, like earlier I mentioned, is again same slide. Incremental, the big bang, adaptation, or the reconstruction. Totally, we can transform. So evaluation and revaluation. So we need to look around all these, the nature of the change in our organization, how we can do, which we discuss, what time is available, what scope people really want, aspect of the current situation and need, how diverse are the people, experience, views, and opinions. So all we need to be focused in our organization when we want to be chaired. Okay, welcome. So next, we're looking who's available to chain and the resources. All this we need to remember. This we discussed in the previous the link. Okay, different. These are the key approaches according to this learning outcome 4.2. We can discuss different approaches. We can discuss, living model. We can discuss about quarter model. We can discuss about all these other theories as well. So Greatman theories, trade theory, where we're looking the individual trade, behaviorist theories, we need to look around behavior of the people, situation theories, where we look the situational leader carry on chaining according to the uh, environment. So that's a contingency theory. Yes, you need a contingency plan, and the leaders carry on and should have transactional theories carry on chaining as well, transformational theories, how we can transform in our organization. So these are the theories we can pick, and if you want to be, just type this theory's name and just write against them Kaplan, so you can find all the theories, So a couple of them we discuss, situational leadership. The further we'll go through in LO3, 4.3 as well. Any question?
No.
Okay, different style of chain. We need to be manage education, intervention, participation, or caution. So that sort of the styles, we need to be, we need to focus on these styles, and we need to well aware of which sort of the style is required. So middle level management and other stakeholders. So middle level implement the plan, make sense of strategies, reinterpret and adjust, and build relevance bridges between senior, junior, and other stakeholders. Of course, we need chief executive, consultant, government, investors, to all stakeholders environment. Then if you want to be implement your according to the model, we need to make the communication strategies effectively, and no matter how good the thinking behind the strategies, it is a waste of the time if it is not heads hearted and hands of the people who need to be executed. So we need to make sure that we communicate them. If you want to be, so for change purposes, we need to focus on the communication strategies as well. So next we is, when communicating strategies, you are communicating change. People do like change or people don't like change. So ensure the employees are ready to change, unfreeze, change, execute intended to change, and ensure the change become the permanent. This all according to Levin. Yes, and we discuss about quarter as well in the previous climate of the change, and we need to engage the people. We need to make sure the people engage in the organization for the change. Any question?
No.
Okay, as we said, communication strategies, Hesberg hygiene factor, we need to focus when we implement the change, motivator and demotivator factor. According to Hesberg, he mentioned two types of the factor: hygiene factor, unhygiene factor, a hygiene factor, motivator factor, and demotivator factor. So we need to be look around the motivator factor, and those are the demotivator factor. We need to convert them into motivator factor in our organization, like the pay, like it's a stress about redundant and transfer or other cultural change. We need to make sure we have strategies in place. So communicate the strategies and change and motivation. We can look around, away from thinking towards thinking. So we need a positive thinking in place in our organization. Communication strategies, we need to explain. SWOT analysis we can do in our organization. The model, we can use it internal, what strengths, what weaknesses, what opportunities, what threats we have, and how we can make sure when we'll implement the change, we should be good environmental analysis in place, both yes, with communicating strategy, launching the strategies, follow up and commitment. We need to be required. Some key point: creating realization, awareness, understanding, agency, all, and need to communicate. If we don't communicate, we're not going to be achieved. So that's all our uh, sorry, so many slides, but it's all about, will help you in terms of when you write your assignment. So that's why I a bit skip. So that's all, different models we can discuss in 4.2. To address 4.2, we can discuss different model of chain. So I copied the link for you. If you type, this Kaplan, so you write model of chain, and next to that, if you just write, the Kaplan, and you will find all the material and change as well. I copied the link as well. So please, and you can reference as well. Huh? So all there, those we discuss. So next, outcome 4.3. In 4.3, apply the leadership chain agent skill. So really, we're looking what sort of the skills required as a leader to implement the chain. What do you think? What sort of the skills required? If we need to implement the chain, what skills required? Any thought? What do you think? What sort of the we need to plan? Yes.
Good decision making, have change management. Well, have good personal skills.
That's really, really crucial. We need interpersonal skills. Yes.
Yes.
So people skills. We understand to whom we are dealing it is very, very crucial. And the culture, in which culture we are in. Yes, of course, when you understand the people, you understand the culture really. Okay, that's really strategic leadership mean having ability to anticipate, prepare, and get position for the future. The leader must be tuned in to the signal that provide the insight about the needs and the wants of the team member. Senior management, supplier, and such as the leader must have inspirations, good interpersonal skills, ability to solve the complicated problems, ability to plan, opportunist abilities, and good timekeeping. If you're not keeping yourself time, how you expect your employees will keep the time? Yes. So all this we need to be look around those skills required to apply, because you're a agent and we need skills on the behalf of the shareholders, because actually the owner of the business is a shareholder and we are agent, we are working on the behalf of the shareholders in the companies. So middle managers are linking in between the senior management team and the rest of the organization. If they don't have a proper communication system in play, that can create a problem, the lack of coordination. So we need undertake the personal chain, help their team through the chain, build up and maintain momentum of chain. We need to make sure complete and act and facilitate the chain agent, internal and external. The chain agent is central to the process and useful in a helping organization to define the problem and the cause, diagnose the solution and select the appropriate course of action, and implement change and transmit the learning process to others and the organization overall. That's we need to be the change agent need to do. Any question? Okay, then other can't mention the skills, leadership skill. We need imagination to innovate, professionalism to perform, and openness to collaborate. So these are the three attributes we need to be for the chain purposes. So he said communicating, compiling aspiration, turning to the environment, challenging the prevailing organization wisdom, learning to preserve, building coalitions, and we need transferring ownership to the workforce team and making everyone a hero. Yes, so we need to make sure we involve with the people, we listen them. That's why the undercover boss is very, very important concept. Maybe you go and you observe the real, what is the ground reality, not sitting and making a plan in the office. You're supposed to be understand the ground reality. Any questions?
No.
So 4.1 is all about to discuss the model, force field model of chain. 4.2, you discuss any sort of the models of chain, which we discuss good few. Quarter models, or you can look around the leadership style or the strategies we discuss, and the live-in model as well. So please, you can discuss in 4.2 as well. And 4.3 is all about the skills and agent role to implement the change in our organization. That's, all our LO4, which we're supposed to, and we discuss. Anybody, any questions?
No.
So, okay, guys. So we'll keep up to here today. And if you have any question, if you're not get me any points, anything, so please ask me. And my name Anjum and my email address there. And hope so I will speak you all during our next lesson. And please carry on working towards assignments. Hope so I'll speak you soon. Thanks. Bye bye.
Goodbye.